Good morning. My name is Misa Iwama. I'm the Director of Music Ministry. It's so nice to be here with everyone today. John O'Neill is playing piano. Thank you so much, as always. And I'm here with Reverend Dr. Robin Tanner and our congregational coordinator, Dana Moore. And we are so glad that you chose to come here today. I have a few announcements before we get started. One, as you probably already know, it's One Day Choir at 12:30. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have singing. It's a chance for you just to get acquainted with some of the music that's coming up as early as next week. We're going to be working on a world premiere piece of John O'Neill's that he has written. So if you come to One Day Choir, you'll learn part of the song too, so that you'll know what's happening next week. Also next Sunday is the unveiling of the updated designs for the new building. So you'll want to stay for the after the service. And for today, Harvest Delight online bidding ends tonight. So you need to get your last minute bids in. All the things that you've been thinking would be wonderful to have, now is the time. And then you can help us end our auction week on a very high note. So I think we should just take a minute here to say hello, since what we do every single week is we build a new community. Maybe we've never had this exact group of people here together. So why don't we just take a little time and say hello to someone you might not have come in with. We're going to begin by singing together, and this is in the gray hymnal, 128. It's 128, which is For All That Is Our Life. Today our theme is gratitude, and you'll say that we're going to sing our thanks and praise. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing. We sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
worship associate today, and I am an older person in a maroon sweater and shawl, and I go by the pronoun she, her. I'd like to ask a volunteer to help with the chalice. Anybody? Come on. Any little people? Janelle, you're not little. Thank you. These words come from our value of generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality.
Good morning, beloved.
Good morning.
Oh, yes. I saw the light. I saw the light coming from you, and it was begging to be amplified. I am indeed Reverend Robin. My pronouns are she, her. I am an average white woman, and I am indeed also middle-aged, and we can talk about that later if anyone wants to. I'm glad to be here with you this morning. Glad that you have chosen to take some time to center in with us at this beacon, and I'm joined by...
Good morning, my name is Dana Moore. I use she, her pronouns. I am a member of the Global Majority and your congregational coordinator.
So today we are going to read a very special story together, and there's a little spoiler alert in front of you. Can anyone guess what story we're going to read? Harold and the Purple Crayon. How many people know this story? All right. It is a beloved classic by many. And it tells us the story of a little boy who created a whole world with his magic purple crayon. Has anyone here ever wanted to create something magical? Or create something maybe normal that you don't have in your life? Yeah? Yeah, what kinds of things would you create if you had a magic purple crayon?
Flying carpet.
A flying carpet. What would you draw? A phone. So would my 11-year-old son. A plane. And a what? An invisible plane. Ooh, plot twist. I like that. Stanton. A rocket that could travel faster than light. What are some maybe almost ordinary things that you might create if you had your magic purple crayon? The adults are getting in on this now. Sean? A table. Okay.
Warm, cozy housing for the unhoused.
Housing for the unhoused. Joelle? A greenhouse. A garden. All right. Is our imagination sparked a little? Shall we take this to the next level?
Yes.
All right. Well, today we want to make it a little bit of a competitive story, because those of you who know me know that I like a good competition, right?
Yes.
And since this story is so well known, we can't tell it in the ordinary way. So I'm going to need 4 people who are willing to participate in a kind of relay drawing exercise. All right, come on up. 1. Stanton, 2. 3. We'll take you as a team, okay? 3, and I need 1 more, maybe an older, oh, come on up. We can have more folks on our team. Can I get 1 more adult to join us, 2? Okay, cool.
Yay.
Thank you. I think you were kind of voluntold, but it counts. It counts. All right, we're going to split up into 2 teams, okay? All right, 2 teams. You want to go this way? You're going to be on this team? Okay. All right. Stanton, can you come over on this team? Well, we've got some more folks coming, though. They're coming down. All right, so here are instructions. Everyone ready for the instructions? Listening ears? Okay. So you're going to be Team Dana.
Woo! Are you excited?
You have enthusiasm on your side. All right. And when Dana is reading part of the story, you're going to draw it on that board. So come collect your marker, Team Dana. And that means you're going to be Team Reverend Robin. Yeah, okay, we got some enthusiasm. And that means when I read part of the story, you're going to pick up and start drawing on the board, okay? So when I talk, you draw. And when Dana talks, y'all draw, okay? We good?
Yes.
Everyone good? And you all will be our judges. Okay. All right? Actually, everybody's going to be a winner, so.
And Erin, we've got a special job for you. In between our drawings,
Yeah.
we'll wipe down the board.
We need a little help, and you need a marker. You can come on up. Let's get ready for the drawing. Okay, I think we're ready. Here you go.
Okay, so I will begin our story. Okay, who's Team Dana? Are you ready to draw? One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight.
So start drawing Harold in the moonlight. It's a very strong Harold.
Yes, in the moonlight.
This is going to pick up speed, so we're going to do fast drawing. There wasn't any moon. And Harold, where's Team Reverend Robin? We got to switch out. Go ahead, go to the board. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on.
Nice job.
Ooh.
Okay, Team Dana.
Can I draw something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He made a long, straight path. Can you make a long, straight path? So he wouldn't get lost. And he set off on his walk. Oh no, where's his long, straight path? Taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long, straight path. So he left the path for a shortcut across a field, and the moon went with him. The moon went with him. Go, Team Dana, you can draw too. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. Ooh.
He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. Just one tree. And it turned out to be an apple tree.
The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red.
So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. It even frightened Harold. He backed away. His hand holding the purple crayon started to shake.
Suddenly, he realized what was happening. But by then, Harold was over his head in an ocean. He came up thinking fast.
And in no time, he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. After he had sailed long enough in his boat, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was.
Okay, Team Dana. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie. But there were all kinds of pie, 9 pies that Harold liked best. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left over.
He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste, so Harold left a hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up. And off he went, looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see, so he decided to make the hill into a mountain.
If he went high enough, he thought, he could see the window of his bedroom. He was tired and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped. And there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. But luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon.
He made a balloon and he grabbed onto it. And he made a basket under the balloon big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house.
So he made a house with windows, and he landed on the balloon, landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be.
So he made some more windows. He made a big building full of windows. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be.
He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way to Harold, the way Harold was going anyway. But Harold thanked him, and he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in bed. Then, suddenly, Harold remembered.
He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon.
And then Harold made his bed, got in it, and drew up the covers.
The purple crayon dropped on the floor.
And Harold dropped off to sleep.
Oh my goodness. Team Dana, Team Reverend Robin, drop the crayons. Thank you so much.
Nice job.
Please, we will recap the markers because we all know what happens to an uncapped marker. And it's very, very, very sad. Thank you. All right. So did I really have you draw together for competition? No, you're right. You found me out. Why might I have had you draw together? What's different about drawing together than the story of Harold drawing on his own? What can happen when we draw together? New ideas. What else can happen when we draw together? Laughter. Teamwork. Shared vision, interesting illustrations. Together, right, we can create something that any one of us, if we hadn't been on those teams working together, could have created on our own. And that's where I want to take us today. I wonder if you could help me remember that although the story of Harold is very interesting when one little boy creates a whole world on his own, don't you think it might just be a little more fun if Harold had a community with him? Here ends our time for all ages.
Good morning, Beacon. My name is Sean Jordan. If we haven't yet met, I most often take he, him pronouns. I am a father and a husband in this community. Today I'm wearing a feathered brown shirt because my height is average, but I think average is all relative, right? And I'm wearing a burgundy stole that indicates my role as a chaplain in this community. The chaplains seek to extend the reach of Beacon's ministry by creating sacred spaces for intentional presence and deep listening. We find that moments of presence and moments of spacious listening can help to magnify the light. If perhaps you are seeking such a space and want to consider connecting with a chaplain, we can meet people one-on-one in times of grief, joy, change, and so much more. And you can trust that we hold these engagements in confidence and in covenant. If you feel called to be connected with a chaplain, please reach out to me or any member of the ministry team. And if you feel called to become a part of the chaplain team, please reach out to me. I welcome a chat. We're always open to looking for those who are looking to magnify light in this world. As I was coming in today, I was reflecting on whether or not to share something, because as you can see already, I know I'm going to get teary. But seeing the time for all ages, I felt really inspired. Who here is familiar with Miss Rachel? Anybody? She's a children's entertainer, YouTube star. She's like the Mr. Rogers of our age. She, this last week, received an award, Woman of the Year, and she has been a really vocal supporter for the children of Palestine, using her platform time and time again to make this struggle known and not put it away and not hide it. And as she was receiving this award, she wore this beautiful shawl. I invite you to look it up. And it had the drawings of many children from Gaza, including one that had a bucket of water pouring water out with moons and stars in it. And she said that the little girl who drew that drawing had lost both of her sisters. And Miss Rachel had asked her what she wanted to share with the world, and the girl said, "I want the world to know that my sisters are not numbers. They are moons, they are stars, they shine, and they sparkle." So when I see the world that we can create with our pens, with our voices, and with our platforms, I feel so inspired. I feel so happy to be a part of this community, truly. So, with that, I'd like to engage in another community ritual of community candle lighting. This is the planned time for creating some sacred space right here and now for us to be present and listen deeply. Together we light candles of joy, sorrow, and gratitude. Today we light a candle of support for Sunal Patel, sister to Himanshu, as she undergoes a clinical procedure. We light a candle of remembrance for Praful Amin, uncle to Parag Patel, who passed away this week at the age of 85, honoring his life and holding his loved ones in our hearts. We light a candle of sorrow for all who rely on SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, to feed themselves and their families, and whose well-being continues to be entangled in political struggle. We light a candle of joy for the civic participation seen in this past Tuesday's elections, including here in New Jersey, where we made our own voices heard, and in the New York City mayoral election, which had over 2 million voters, the largest turnout in over 50 years. Yeah. And we light a candle of immense gratitude for the generosity shown during this year's Harvest Delight Festival, from the bidders to the donors. Thank you, and a reminder that the virtual part of the auction remains open until midnight tonight. Let's keep the spirit going until the final minute. Yeah. For these things and so much more, beloved, I invite you now to consider your own inspirations of gratitude, sorrow, and joy. As you feel called, come forward and light a candle of your own, holding your inspiration in your heart or sharing it out loud with us as we light your candle.
a poem by Robin Tanner called Harold. There's one problem with Harold. You know the 4-year-old boy who wants to see the moon for a walk, but cannot see the moon, so he draws it himself? Harold's world is boring. Remember, Browning wrote this. I don't think Harold. Sure, he sails the ocean, creates an entire city, and a picnic with 9 pies. But aside from a moose and porcupine, he eats alone. What's a city without people? And what's an ocean to sail or a moon to gaze at if you cannot share that, the exhale or wonder? If you can't ever sing Fly Me to the Moon, or slurp pasta and Sunday gravy with a beloved in a well-trod corner of the city, or eat blueberry pie or coconut cream on a picnic blanket with neighbors you love, then what is the point of a crayon at all? What is the point of the power to imagine and create what we finite mortals are gifted? Harold's world cannot be what we are called to create. Instead, beloved, we take up worn crayons and barely used, fresh out of the box, begging to be sanctified by use, purple crayons. And we take violet, and blue violet, and purple heart, and orchid, lilac, and magenta, and mauve, as well as plum and periwinkle for good measure, thistle for warning, raisin and lavender for wisdom, iris and amethyst for hope. We take the crayons together, and in the chaos of scribble and well-intended and exceptionally crafted, we create a world more beautiful, more alive, more beloved than we ever could color alone.
We're going to sing from our gray hymnal. It's number 322. Thanks be for these. I think we can remain seated as we sing this one that has beautiful words, and we'll do 3 verses. Thanks be for these life's holy times, moments of grief, days of delight, triumph and failure intertwined, shaping our vision of the right. Thanks be for these, for birth and death, life in between with meaningful, holy becomes the quickened breath. We celebrate life's interval. Thanks be for these ennobling art, images welcome to our sight, music caressing ear and heart, inviting us to loftier heights.
I want to invite you into a meditative space, but before you close your eyes, it's a meditation of movement. And I want to invite you, if you have your phone with you, to take your device out. I know, you've been shocked by the heresy of the moment. All right. If you don't have a device, that's just fine. If you can get a pen if you have with you, our ushers can bring some paper in. What I'm going to invite you to do in the next 2 minutes is very quietly, without any conversation with anyone, is to look around this space and find something of beauty, something for which you are grateful, and take a picture of it. Okay? If you're taking a picture of a person, just ask them, like motion. But I do ask that we do this in silence. We're gonna take it as a space of meditation. There are no rules particularly beyond that. So if you want to take a picture of something outside, that's just fine. But look around for the next 2 minutes while John plays a piece. Thank you so much, John, for the gift of your music today, and Misa. And take a photo. If you don't have your device, the ushers are coming through with paper and with some writing implements, okay? 2 minutes, find something of beauty. As we close our meditation, I invite you to look at those photos you took for a moment, or what you drew, or maybe something you wrote down. And in the silence of your heart, or even aloud if you would like, let us offer our gratitude for the beauty we just found in these moments. Thank you, beloved. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Chad Petrove, and I'm a middle-aged white man with shortly cropped hair wearing a pink and yellow plaid shirt today, as is my custom. I get often asked, when did I start coming to Beacon? And if you know me well, you know I'm horrible with dates. I'm also horrible with names. That's a fact which will come up a little bit later. And I honestly don't remember. I would say mid-pandemic. I started coming here when Beacon wasn't having in-person services. And Sunday morning services were, I think, pre-recorded. They were online. And afterwards, there was an online coffee hour on Zoom. And it was really wonderful time to see people, especially when we were all trapped at home. And one week, Thule asked me, would you be willing to host the virtual coffee hour, one of the breakout rooms? Remember I said I'm horrible with names, and that idea terrified me. But it was such an easy ask that I said, okay. And it went pretty well because people would put in their names, except for the occasional iPad. And then you would have multiple people together. And, you know, I can tell Janice and Adrian Hartman apart. The people that terrified me more than anything in the world was Debbie Marquette and Laura Kramer. Because I was terrified that I would call them the wrong name, and when you're new, you kind of are afraid of that kind of stuff. And they're wonderful, and it was totally unplaced fear. One of the first events that we went to from what was then Spring Forward was a dinner, and we were still kind of spread out in a backyard. It was an event, and Debbie and Laura were there, and I was kind of fanboying out because I'm like, I know them. And I couldn't wait to talk to them. And I think it was probably a bigger deal for me to go over and say hello to them than it was for them to meet me. I don't know. I never confirmed that. But it was a really big deal. And that magic is one of the reasons why I continue to sign up for events at Spring Forward, or what is now Harvest Delight. It's that kind of connection. And it's the reason why my husband and I try to host events to, again, try to foster that. The reason why I bring all of this up is because Harvest Delight is coming to a close. Bidding continues until midnight tonight. And if you haven't, there are still some amazing opportunities available. If you need to catch your flight at Newark with a ride for 4 adults and luggage, that's still available. All right, there are 2 tickets for an amazing play, Come From Away, musical Come From Away at the Paper Mill Playhouse, still available. If you want to have Polish food at Reverend Robin's house, there's still space available and is incredibly affordable. The youth group are offering candygrams for Valentine's Day. So if you want to have candygrams sent to somebody that you love by our amazing youth, still available. There's a private concert being offered by jazz and R&B trumpeter Bruno Lee. If you have space in your yard, all right, Joelle is offering seed packets, and they are under $10. So there is something available for everyone. It is still happening up until midnight tonight. And in order to sweeten that pot just a little bit, after the second service today, my husband Kai and I are offering 2 additional meals. That's for a couple to come to our house on a mutually agreed upon date and have a meal with us. Whenever is available, whatever you want to eat, whatever your dietary requirements, we will accommodate them. But we just want to sweeten that pot a little bit more because it is an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing offering at Harvest Delight, and it really does support the mission of this congregation. So please, if you haven't bid, great opportunity is still available. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chad. Chad, if I come to your home for dinner, can we just eat pie? Like 9 different kinds of pie? I'm feeling inspired. Wonderful. All right, I'm there. Beloved, it is now with hearts overflowing with gratitude that our morning offering will be received.
This song reminds me of Dana Moore because a few weeks ago, she spoke about the effects of a car accident and how people all around her, including at Beacon, helped her in the following weeks of her recuperation. And the title of this song is Grateful. I'm gonna cry all alone in my room. Don't ask me why, It's just that I need to. I'll feel the sorrow and I'll feel the pain, and I will be grateful at the end of the day. I'm gonna walk it myself through the storms in my body, through the high water hell. I will press on, be what it may, and I will be grateful at the end of the day. I'll be a witness to the sorrows I see. I will not feel at ease, I will not feel at peace when the world leaves me sleepless. I'll be awake and I will be grateful at the end of the day. I will be strong and stronger still, torn from my home, worn from my will. I will give of my heart and to show you the way. I will be grateful at the end of the day.
Wow, Misa, thank you. A lot of days lately, beloved, I wish I had Harold's purple crayon. Amen? The ability to draw my way into the world I can imagine. If only it were that simple. I bet any one of us right now could name one concrete thing that we would create into existence if we had the power to do so. In a part of Christian theology called kingdom theology, there's a concept called the yet, but not yet. The idea is that for Christians, that God's kingdom is already present, heaven on earth, if you will, and also so clearly not yet present. So far we are from the beloved community, the kingdom that has not yet been realized on earth. The idea in this theological concept, which really can extend far beyond Christianity, is that we live in both the very real manifestation of goodness and light in our world, and we constantly live in the gap where suffering is still so present and often created by humans. But the other concept to this yet but not yet is that we humans have an incredible creative capacity to imagine. And the truth is, we can always imagine a world better than the one we are able to create. So we live in this eternal state of aspirations and values, of dreams and visions that in some way are never fulfilled. And so one of the essential qualities of being human, then, is longing. And when things are particularly bad, either personally in our lives when we're navigating loss, pain, rapid change, or when things are publicly and communally bad with suffering and violence in our communities, then this longing, which is a part of our essential being, this longing can become colossal. And it can slide into a deeper despair. So what is the spiritual bridge between the longing and a life animated with purpose, with grounding, maybe even with hope? Gratitude. Gratitude is the bridge in this yet, but not yet. When you feel all that is good is dissolving and all that is bad is growing, and you can find one thing to give thanks for, one small glimmer of beauty or goodness, one signal of love, that can be the difference in a human life between despair and hope. As the 14th century mystic Meister Eckhart once said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. That is not because that God is so petty that she needs to hear us say thank you like grateful children, but more deeply because we, these beings of longing, need to utter blessing into the world for ourselves. That life is both enough and never enough all at once. That this day, however it unfolds, is both enough and never enough. I once responded years ago in a less enlightened state when I was advised to take life one day at a time, that it would have to depend on the day. That's great advice if it's a good day, but some days I'd like to return to sender. I thought I was being funny, which clearly I was. But my wise friend and mentor looked at me, and without even a smile, he said, if this were your last day, Robin, you wouldn't return it. We don't get to choose. Either our life is a gift worthy of saying thank you, or we reject it all. Thank you. In the midst of storm and rain, thank you. In the midst of sunshine and cloudless skies, thank you. As Misa sang, finding that gratitude even in the pain. There's an old adage that says, when life is good, you ought to meditate once a day, and when life is challenging and chaotic, and when you are too busy, you ought to meditate at least twice a day. I think the same is true of a gratitude practice. When we are struggling, we need to say thank you and to find and seek out the beauty and the goodness and pay attention to it and meditate on it, move for it, seek it, even more than when things are good. Every morning I rise and I kneel to pray. I have a kneeler in my room. And as the sun is rising, I open my window, my bedroom window, which is on the second floor, and often is companioned by the moon, just like Harold. And I take a picture. I finish the morning routine. I get the kids ready for whatever the essentials are that need to happen, a lost shoe, a breakfast almost forgotten, chasing them down the street with their vitamins. And then I take a walk. And usually it's about 2 miles that I walk. And on my walk, I take pictures. A flower or a leaf, a fox crossing the road, And when I'm done with my walk, I send these photos to a friend who is a spiritual companion. We hold each other accountable in this gratitude practice. I say, good morning. Here's the beauty I found today. And sure enough, a little bit later, she does the same for me. Sometimes I write a poem and post it on social media. When things are really bad and hard, I force myself to take more photos. I stay longer on that kneeler, and instead of music as I walk, I listen for the birds or the wind, or even try to find gratitude in the passing cars. I notice and try to find some blessing, something to be grateful for in this world. And beloved, never, ever, even in my lowest moments, and there have been some very low ones lately, never has there been at least one small thing I couldn't find when I really looked to say thank you for. We live in the yet, not yet. Beings of a longing that is a holy gift because at its best, it keeps us seeking and working toward a better world than what we are living in. And that is a good thing. But that longing can be manipulated and cheapened if we don't have practices to ground us. There's a theory in liberation theology that says one of the most damaging parts of commercialism is what is called mimetic desire. It's a concept coined by Young Mo Sung, a liberation theologian. The idea is not only in commercialism do we get attached to the things we want and fueled to consume more and more and more, but that we can be manipulated in our wants such that not only do we want a thing, but we want what others want, what we perceive them to want. And it's this unending cycle of competition. Think about in the neighborhood when someone gets a brand new basketball hoop, right? And maybe your family didn't even want a hoop. But simply that the other family wanted it, suddenly now you want it too. And it doesn't stop. We want more and more stuff. Instead of being grounded in gratitude and maybe asking that neighbor with the new basketball hoop whether we could all play ball together, we get our own. That has to be better because we want someone else's want. Gratitude pulls us out of mimetic desire. It grounds us back in the reality of yet but not yet. Gratitude is a spiritual practice, though. It can't stop with a quiet whisper of thank you. It needs to be shared in community. For in the ritual of gratitude, we find that human longing is transformed into belonging. We remember we belong to this earth, to all beings that we share it with, and to one another. When we share the gratitude, we take that human capacity to create and transform into the fuel for transformation. We call one another more deeply into the yet, but not yet. Yesterday, I was asked to spend the evening with a group of families who had been impacted by one of the most recent warehouse raids where 47 people were detained in New Jersey. And these were the parents, the brothers, the sisters, the children, the nieces, the nephews of those who had been swept up in the raid. Some of their loved ones are at Delaney Hall in Newark, others are in Elizabeth, others yet have been sent to Texas and other parts of the country. And I was asked to give a prayer, and I was trying to think beyond comfort and prayers for safety for their loved ones in reunification. What could I possibly offer in a prayer? We gathered first for a meal, and as we gathered, I listened to the stories, and I listened to people thanking one another. Thank you for standing in line with me the other day and bringing snacks for the kids while we waited for the family visiting hours. Thank you for getting me the name of that attorney. Oh, thanks for getting me something to drink. Just again and again, there was, in the midst of tears that were flowing and the horror of the stories that were being shared, here these families, in the depth of grief and fear over what is going to happen to their loved ones, were thanking one another and thanking the members of the organization that had gathered us. It was a humbling, remarkable thing to witness and experience. And so, as I began my prayer, I realized I ought to include gratitude into it. And everyone in the room started joining me with the names of their loved ones, with memories they were grateful for, with gratitude for one another and the organization that gathered us. And from that gratitude, we called one another to action to challenge this system. And that prayer turned into an organizing meeting. And there was a grounding of force that the despair couldn't even touch. We take up the purple crayon and start drawing together. We remember who we can be. And it is in that truth that we are liberated into our greatest potential from the humility of all that we did not create and cannot control, from the abundance of what already is and the holy longing that leads us onward toward what yet might be. And beloved, it is in those small moments we are saved, not by God or even by ourselves, but by the grace of this gratitude, the courage to bless in the midst of what is broken, to give thanks as we lament. We are saved by that quiet two-word prayer, even if we do not yet know to whom or what we offer it, even if the day is rubbish already and we'd really like to return it. The tree lets her radiant amber leaves loose on us. The child laughs, the moon rises again, and without even words, our heart sings, "Thank you." And it is enough, and never ever enough, all over again. So let us give thanks. Let us be wholly human together in this yet, but not yet. Amen, and thank you.
Thank you, Robin. We're going to have closing music of We Give Thanks. That's in the Teal hymnal. It's 10:10. Or you could just echo back. That's another way of singing this song. So I invite you to rise in body or spirit, and we'll say thank you as a community. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share
Would you take hands for our closing blessing? And now, beloved, may the love that is our source and our ultimate return, may that love hold you and guide you until we meet again. May that love be a gift that overflows from your heart to all whom you meet. And may that love be the generous return of your giving. So may you be blessed. Amen.